it's Alicia, and I'm back with another video. None other. I'm back to talk about WWE potential feuds, and all we're gonna be talking about is Cody Rhodes matches we could get from Raw and SmackDown if Cody Rhodes was on Raw or SmackDown, and the matches we could get. Because if you think about it, since Cody Rhodes been back, we all know he's going to be more focused on Seth Rollins right now. Seth Rollins. He's going to be mostly on of Seth Rollins, and I'm thinking also the Miz as well. So yeah, so we got two feuds kind of going on at the same time. Cody Rhodes and Seth Rollins and the Miz as well. But I wanted to come and talk about some wrestlers I think we can get some good matches from, with Cody Rhodes being the main thing. I will let you know if it could be a long-term WWE feud, or a short-term feud, or a few months feud. So let's get started. We're going to start off with Raw is War. So for the Raw is War, I put down Bobby Lashley, Austin Theory, now known as Theory, Damian Priest, Rey Mysterio, Dominik Mysterio, and AJ Styles. So out of the six wrestlers from Raw is War, I'm going to give you a short-term feud. Now, I really believe for a short-term feud, like I'll say a 3-month feud, I really can see Cody Rhodes versus Dominik Mysterio as a short-term feud. Now, I'm not dogging. Let me just put this right here. I am not dogging. And let me just say, I am not dogging Dominik Mysterio's credibility. But as y'all know, WWE has not gave him a lot of long-term feuds, and they turned out great for him. But I'm saying a short-term feud. I really believe you got somebody who is almost about the same age as me, who might be older than me, Cody Rhodes, who's like, what, late 30s, early 40s, and then you got Dominik Mysterio, who is still under the age of 30. And I think if WWE booked a short-term feud with them, it's like, can we get a good match with it? If they built this short-term feud up in the right way, just to build up, and maybe in a year or two bring this feud back, I think it could work. But we'll need mostly a short-term feud. So that would be a short-term feud. Also, another short-term feud I can see, oh my God, Cody Rhodes versus Austin Theory, better now known as Theory. I'm gonna still call him Austin Theory. Austin Theory. That will be another short-term feud. I won't say it would be a 6 month feud. I could see this feud being no more than a 2-month feud for under 2 reasons. And you have to watch my next video coming in a couple of days. But I will say that's just only that. It can only be a short-term feud. So let's just go start off with Damian Priest. I could see Damian Priest versus Cody Rhodes. That would be a good 6 months. Another short-term feud, but for 6 months. I could see the build of this. This would be a high intensity feud. We can get some good matches from it for those 6 months, and I really believe we probably can get something real good from that. Okay, the next one, we have 3 more. We have 3. Okay, I don't know. I think Rey Mysterio's out on injury leave right now, but if Rey and I really would love to see Rey Mysterio and Cody Rhodes revisit their old feud. If you remember back in the day, Cody Rhodes made fun of Rey Mysterio because he wore a mask. If you did not know that, go back and check WWE archives and stuff and I will come and talk about that at a later date. But if you brought that, bring these two together and get and bring that back up and stuff, it'll be like let's say Rey Mysterio has a it starts off with Rey Mysterio having a vendetta over Cody Rhodes and stuff like that, and then it'll have to be like a feud that would like it will end with Dominik's feud with him, but his dad picks up this feud and stuff like that. So that's how I feel like the Dominik Cody Rhodes feud ended, but then Ray comes in and help his son pick up a win against Cody Rhodes. So that will be a real good feud to bring that Cody Rhodes and Rey Mysterio feud back up. So the next feud was AJ Styles. Now I can see that being a long-term feud. I don't know why, but I have never seen these two wrestle each other. Especially, I mean, they have dodged each other for years, and I just think Cody Rhodes versus AJ Styles, I think we will get a Impact feud. This is a very long-term feud. It can be a year-long feud. I can see this being a year-long feud. Something they start in January and they just go on to the end of the year, but they like every so often take a break from the feud and then they come back and stuff. That's how I feel WWE can approach some of their long-term feuds. So the next one, but last, is Bobby Lashley. Now the reason I say Bobby Lashley right now is one of the top African American wrestlers at the moment. So do I want to see Cody Rhodes versus Bobby Lashley? Yes, because Bobby Lashley has something. I can see them. You don't have to like one loses. We just build them up and build them up and have a credible match. Just like and stuff. It has to be the right storyline. It has to be a right storyline between Bobby Lashley and Cody Rhodes. But that feud would be a good feud, a Impact feud. Like I said, it's also a long-term feud. So this is another year-long feud we can get. So I want to hear from y'all. Out of everybody I mentioned from Raw, between Bobby Lashley, Austin Theory, Damian Priest, Rey Mysterio, Dominik Mysterio, and AJ Styles, who would you want to see? Now, if I can pick a wild card and stuff, and I'm thinking who's all on there on Raw. Wild card. Oh my God. Hope y'all will agree. Oh my God. I really would want to say, for a wild card, I would say I don't think really truly I don't think Raw has a wild card, but if I can give that to anybody that is a wild card, it will probably have to be R-Truth, because I want to see what Cody Rhodes and R-Truth can put together in a program, because that would be mostly my wild card for Raw. Okay, so now we're moving on to SmackDown. We won't be doing no wild cards for SmackDown because these are just point blank good matches I can put. Well, we might have one. We might. So for SmackDown, we have Drew McIntyre, Roman Reigns, Kofi Kingston, Sheamus, and Madcap Moss. So let's start with Madcap Moss. Madcap Moss will be, I'll say, a couple of months feud. By a couple of months feud with Madcap Moss versus Cody Rhodes, I mean a good 6 months feud. A good 6 month feud. That's the only person I can see with a good 6-month feud. Sheamus, he has not been a top superstar in a long time, but I also see him being maybe a 6-month feud. The reason is because we have not seen Sheamus in that top contention for a WWE title belt or the Universal title belt. So that's the reason why I put that. But I really think we can get a good programming from Sheamus and Cody Rhodes. So I really, really, really think that's a really good one. Then the other three, Kofi Kingston, Roman Reigns, and Drew McIntyre, those are a year-long feud. Let me tell y'all why I think Kofi Kingston could be a year-long feud. Kofi Kingston versus Cody Rhodes just probably would be just a good feud where it's not one competitor is not being buried. It's like showing their credibility. You know, Kofi Kingston is the high flyer. You have the high flyer versus the nightmare. That is a good match that we could get. So I'm thinking that's a good long-term feud, especially if we start that feud off in January and we can get that and we can just build this feud up, just build a year-long feud up with that. Same thing with Roman Reigns. Roman Reigns is the WWE and Universal Unified Champions. So my thing is, let's see Roman Reigns versus Cody Rhodes. And so what it would be like a year-long feud coming up to the next WrestleMania where Roman Reigns and Cody Rhodes be the main event at WrestleMania. It can be at WrestleMania night 1 or night 2. So that is that. But the way that that's how I say we build that up to. Now, Cody Rhodes versus Drew McIntyre. I think that would be a pretty good, because I think Cody Rhodes and Drew McIntyre has wrestled each other when Drew was in Impact Wrestling at one point in time. I'm not too sure, but I will come back and do that. But I really think we can get some good matches. But my thing is, if Brandy Rose is going to be by her husband's side, is she going to be a valet, or is she going to be wrestling in that women's division? We need to know a little bit more about that. But out of all of these feuds, the ones that I'm looking forward to, but like I said, we do have one. We do have I won't say honorable mention, Wildcard. And the one I have to talk about this, is it has to be Apollo Crews versus Cody Rhodes. So if anybody remember years ago, Cody Rhodes' dad, Dusty Rhodes, when Apollo Crews first came to WWE, if you remember, Dusty Rhodes signed off saying, this is the guy we need to be looking at. And so that would be a good setup for a feud between Cody Rhodes and Apollo Crews. I think we could get a good feud out of that, a good year-long feud and stuff. And thinking Cody's trying to figure out, why did my dad sign off on you and not me? It would be something like that, but it would be impact. It would be an impact. It would be a building, and that could go be a year-long feud that ends up at a WrestleMania headlining pay-per-view, or being at a WrestleMania headline pay-per-view, or a SummerSlam pay-per-view. It can be done. I just think these guys that I mentioned, they do deserve to have. These guys that I mentioned is guys that I really do feel that Cody Rhodes probably could have long-term and short-term matches with. You have, like I told you, some of these, like I said, I mentioned the ones who are long-term feuds for Cody Rhodes. They are pretty good feuds. And then out of all the feuds that I mentioned that we could get with Cody Rhodes, which one is the one you really want to see him be doing right now? If Rey Mysterio wasn't on the injured list, I would want to see that particular feud pick back up and stuff. But I'll have to pick my second best one, and that would be Cody Rhodes versus Roman Reigns for the unification title belts. So, okay, y'all, that's all I have time for. Until then, I'm Alicia. Don't forget to thumbs up this video, comment below, and subscribe to my channel. Bye.